Hello, my garden friends. I just wanted to show you my project while I'm doing it rather than once it's over. This was where I had all those gorgeous African marigolds. Remember the big orange ones that look like you could take those and make a gorgeous bouquet, or you could make a lei in Hawaii. That's other than plumeria and some of the things, but they'll take marigolds, and it's the African pom-pom marigold that they'll use for the big leis. Anyway, long story short, I had them all here, and they came up and they took over everything. They were probably 3.5 feet high, and they were just massive. And they were beautiful while the weather was dry. But once we start getting those really heavy afternoon rains almost daily, then the water gets into the heads, and it really kind of like makes them look yucky, and then they're gone. So I started to pull everything up, and I thought, I wonder what is underneath, because I have caladiums that were coming up, and I had pentas in there before that I knew had tried to reseed themselves, and see if there was anything else in there. So I did. I pulled up what I could, and of course it was, you had the big guy here was down in the front, and the little ones were in the back where they weren't at all, and those are pentas. And let me see if I can find one that's actually about to bloom. There you go. There's a little penta that's about to bloom, and here's another one. So I tried to dig everything up, and there's another bigger one. But the problem is this elm tree is massive and gorgeous, but massive. And elm trees, by the way, they naturally lose their skin. They say that's the beauty and the mystique of the tree, is that it peels its skin once it gets to a certain age. But it also sends out new diffuse roots that, if you were ever a hairdresser in the 60s or you wore your hair teased, you know what it was like on Saturday morning when you had to rip that tease out and get ready for your date. It's probably 4 to 6 inches that is just matted. And so, it holds all the top plants in, and it's wonderful, and it holds the tree in place. And even 2 years ago, I dug them all out, and I went through, and I think I had every one of these top roots out. Well, 2 years later, it was just as massive. So I tried to dig around. That took me a couple days to really dig this and try and get it. And after I got most of those top roots out, so that I at least had room to get some soil in there, because it just really, it's almost soil bare. And so I did that, and I tried to go around the yard, of course, and get any, this is going to be my volunteer garden, is what I'm going to call it, because everything looks very wilted. Please forgive me, but it just all looks very wilted right now, because it's a little past noon, and they've been, we've got a 90-degree day, so it said, I think it said 89, feels like 98, so we struggle at this point of the day for these plants. So anyway, long story short, I've got, of the pentas, I actually had 20. And so I took those all out, and I tried to replant them so that the taller guys were closer to the tree, and then the shorter ones are around here towards the lower level. And before the marigolds, I had pentas in here, and the pentas took over. So once they take hold, once they get their little footing, And you can see, I mean, you know, there's a tiny little, these were all volunteers. I was finding them, like, that's a tiny, tiny little volunteer. Amazing, isn't it? And, but what I really wanted to do was have the pentas in there as, um, what do I want to say? Just a small portion of the what's in here. And the same with the caladiums. They're going to be kind of like the assistants. That's the word I wanted. And then the main group is going to be all the Coleus. And it's going to be this bicolored Coleus that you can see. I've got it just about everywhere. Let me find some bigger ones. They're very pretty. And I'll take you over to where it's really growing, although everything's really wilted. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's really wilted because it's in that sun of the day. But it will be really pretty, I promise you. And what I did is my neighbor brought his grass clippings down, and I was going to put them in the compost pile, and I decided that to keep the ground cool, because that really is the problem right now, is that the ground is exposed, and so everything has kind of a look of exhaustion. And even the pentas need the bees haven't even been coming back. Some of the Coleus is this straight green, and then but most of it is this two-tone that I think is so pretty. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this. You can see I put grass clippings down around most of it. This is what the ground looks like without any grass clippings on, and you can see, I mean, it's pretty good soil. It's sandy. You know, we have sandy soil, but that's pretty good. Let's see how that's holding that moisture. And I need to come out. I've got a few marigolds in there too that were some volunteers coming back, and so I thought, well, I would go ahead and disperse them. And that's the key. You know, if you find that you've got something that a lot of the times a marigold head will drop, and then it will do a whole bunch of I'm trying to see if I could see it. I don't really see it right now, but it was like a whole cluster of about 10 or 12. And so if you take them and then just kind of like massage it almost, tease it apart, you can take the little starts and disperse them and make it look like you've done a planting. Now, this is almost mid-August. I would guess in another couple weeks, this is all going to start to look like it's coming together. And I'll finish putting this grass clippings out as mulch. We're about to have a tropical storm or tropical depression, Fred, coming through. And so I'm afraid that if I really put down some type of a mulch, it would just be, it would be washed away in a couple days. So I thought, well, I would try the grass clippings, and I think that will probably hold it all in place. So stay tuned. That was, I just wanted to give you a little update. For those of you who have been following me for almost a year now, September 9th it'll be a year, so I'm kind of excited to see how many people I have following me, how many subscribers. I was hoping for 500. I don't think I'm going to get there by September 9th, but that, you know, we all have our goals to reach, you know. We all have our little pie in the sky, the goal line, that sort of thing. It won't be the finish line, but it would be the goal line. So I would appreciate if anybody wanted to subscribe and ring the notification bell. It would be thrilling. And I hope you'll leave me any suggestions you might have. And I hope to see you all next time. Take care for now. Bye-bye.